Hello and welcome to another video on YouTube channel of tutorialspedia.com. If you are from integration domain or if you have to work with APIs, I'm pretty sure that you might have used Postman one way or another for testing of different APIs. Generally speaking, we use Postman just to do the basic testing of certain API requests, which can be get, put, post, or any type of APIs. But if we look into the available features in Postman and if we explore it further, we come to know that Postman is a quite feature-rich tool, and it provides us extensive feature which we can use for advanced level testing as well. One of these requirements is that in certain scenarios we need to do the load testing, and we often also need to do automated load testing. So for these type of scenarios, there is a collection runner feature available in Postman which comes in handy. In general, normally we go for paid or other tools for load testing or other such intensive testing scenarios. But in this video, I will explain and demonstrate how you can simply use Postman for these type of scenarios, and you can use the collection runner feature for basic automated load testing. We are going to cover in this video includes first we will see that how we can run a collection consists of a set of API calls, and we will see that how we can run a whole collection using the collection runner. And also we will see that how we can have different type of advanced features and advanced configurations available while running a collection, and that can be very useful for our general testing for a particular API collection. Subsequently, we will see that how we can run a scheduled collection where we can specify and configure a schedule that when a particular collection should be executed, and in that way we can have a more of a automated type of scheduling of our API invocations. And last but not least, we will also see that how we can run performance testing using Postman. Postman provides us options and quite a rich set of features which we can use for performance testing, and then we can generate the reports based on that. So I have already created a demo collection for this particular demo tutorial, where I'm having a multiple get, post, put, and delete API calls, and all of these calls are to publicly available JSON placeholder API. And here I'm just calling a calling a get API, which is returning me all of the posts which are available in this JSON placeholder. And then there is another API call which is getting a particular post based on the post ID, and then I have a post request which is creating a new post using the HTTP post verb, and then there is a put method where I can update any post based on the ID for that particular post. And last but not least, there is a delete method which can be used to delete a specific post by providing ID of that post. So in this case, this set of APIs is under one collection, and what we are going to do is that we are going to run this whole collection, and in that way we can make sure that all of these different API calls or API invocations are working fine or not. There are certain additional things that you can do which are not part of in the scope of this tutorial, like you can have mock servers, and instead of calling the actual API endpoints, you can also call the mock API endpoints. And also you can define the tests as well with certain conditions, and you can have JavaScripts as well here, and based on that you can decide whether a test is passed or failed. But we are just going to run the collection directly without adding any particular test in this case. So if you want to run the collection, there are two options. There is a run button here, you can see which runs a collection, or else if you just right click here, you also see multiple options, and one of the option is run collection. So you can use this feature as well. Okay, so I will click on this run collection, and then you can see here that we have option of functional testing and we have option of performance testing. In the functional testing, we have option to do the scheduled runs, which we will see later, but right now we will run manually. And here we can provide how many iterations we want to run. For example, if we want to run this for twice, which means that all of these API endpoints will be executed 2 times. And here we can specify the delay in millisecond. Like if we specify 1000 millisecond, this means that every call will have a delay of 1 second, which is equal to 1000 milliseconds, and then the subsequent call will be made. And if we want to select certain data, we can select the data as well using this, but that we will not do, and we don't want to do the persistence. But if you go to advanced, there are certain additional options that you can look into, like there is a checkbox stop run if an error occurs. So what will happen is that this whole collection will run, but anytime if for any of these API call there is an error, it will stop the whole runner, and then keep variable values and run the collection without using the stored cookies. And there is an option to save cookies after collection. So you can depending on your scenario, you can either check or uncheck these check boxes. And now if I click on this run collection or run demo collection, which is the name of this collection, you will see that it will start running. And here we can observe the response codes, like it made the first call which was 200 okay, and then second call is for the get by post id, which is also 200 okay. It's also giving us the time that it took. This one took 930 milliseconds. The second call got result in 15 milliseconds. And also you can see same case for all. There is also size of the response, like in this case it's 28.64 kb, the size of the response that we got in case of get all posts. If you click on view summary, you can even see all the details here. And then another feature is, if you click on this export result, it's going to export a result, and then the results can be saved into a file. And now that file will have all the responses that are there for all the API calls that we have made. Now the second option that we want to see is that we want to run let me click on the new run. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to choose this schedule run option. So in the schedule run, you can give a name to schedule. So your collection will be automatically run on the Postman Cloud at the configured frequency. So if I name it as demo, that demo hyphen schedule. So this is the name I'm giving to the schedule. And then you can specify here run frequency, and minutes frequency is not available in the free plan. But if you have a upgraded plan, a paid plan, then you can even configure this particular collection to run based on the frequency in minutes. But in this case I will choose hours. And what I want to do is that I want to run with the iteration. I will set it as 1, and it is going to run every hour. But since in this case, for the sake of demonstration, instead of setting it to 1 hour and then waiting for that 1 hour, I will do a different approach. And here you can also have an option, that notification recipient, that in case if this scheduled run fails at any place, then you are going to receive an email notification as well. And you can specify a stop notification after how many consecutive failures. Like there can be a scenario where because of some network error or for some other reasons, this scheduled run is failing repeatedly. You don't want to get bombarded through those notification emails, and you can specify that if 3 times or 5 times or whatever number you decide, if the failure occurs this much time, after that it's not going to shoot the emails. And if you go to advanced setting, there are certain options that retry if run fails. So what this system will do, Postman will do, is that if there is a failure, it will make a retry. And then you can also specify that set requested timeout and request timeout, and then you can specify the timeout. And there are also options like you can set delay between the requests. And you enable if you want to enable or disable SSL validation, you can do that as well. And you can enable the redirect option. So it will, if there is any redirect, it will follow that. So if I schedule it, now it will give me a time that first run is scheduled for today at 5 p.m. But if I want to run it for the sake of demonstration, I don't want to wait it for till that time. So I will just click on run now. So it will run immediately. It says preparing run. So it will prepare in a while, and then it will run, and then we will be able to see the results. So here you can see that it says healthy, which means all of the endpoints were healthy, and we got a response, success response for all cases. And you can verify the response here as well. It will not show us passed or failed because we did not configure the tests in the individual API endpoints. But in general, we can see here that all of them are having 200 okay response. Now if we want to see what will happen in case if there is a problem, then in that case, what I will do is that for one of these endpoints, I'll just make some mistake in the URL. Instead of .com, I'm just putting an additional s. So in that case, now it should fail. So what I will do is that I will go back to my collection, and I will click on this run option, and I will choose scheduled run, same way as we did before. Let's give it a name. I will give it a name as demo, and I will change it to hour. Even if you select weekly, that doesn't matter, because in any case we are going to run it manually. And I will have to receive an email, so I will click on schedule run, and if I click on run now, it should not say healthy, it should fail. So as you can see here, that demo unhealthy, and the reason is that one of the endpoint was incorrect. And you can see here that we got no response for this, because I made a mistake intentionally in the endpoint URL. So because of this, I should have received an email for the configured email stating about this error. So you can see here that I received an email which says we have a problem. It's an email from Postman, and it says that one request in demo collection could not be tested during a run. For more information, and then there are certain additional details. So this is how you automatically receive an email if there is a problem with that scheduled run. Okay, so next now we are going to see that how we can do the performance testing. So for that purpose, I will have to click on this performance tab, and here you can see that it's explained that tests how your API performed under load. So you can simulate real world traffic from your local machine and observe the performance of your APIs. And here you can specify max virtual users, like by default it's saying 20. I can make it 25. And test duration, you can specify for how long you want to run this test. As an example, if you want to run it for 1 hour, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, so I will change it to 2 minutes for now. And here another good feature is that it has a load profile. You want to ramp up or you want to have a fixed. So if you choose fixed, by default from the beginning it will have 25 virtual users. But if you choose this ramp up option, then ramp up duration you can specify. And if you click here, it says time taken to gradually increase to the maximum virtual users. So it will take 2 minutes. You can say that it's a heating time, just like when you ignite a car, you wait for a certain time and then you start running at the full speed. So in a similar way, you can have a ramp up time. And if you choose 2 minutes, but in this case we already have maximum 2 minutes, so I will not choose it as 2 minutes. And if you choose 1 minute, so what will happen is that after 1 minute it will go to the maximum capacity, which is 25 users. So now with this feature, with this configuration, if I click on run, it will start the load test, and you will be able to see all the details here that how it's going, what's the performance, and how we are getting the response time. So it's preparing to run. In a couple of seconds you will see that it will start running. So now you can see that it has started. It says in progress. So you can see that we got a response requested, and the average response time is 268 and 246. Is updating the average response time, and it says total request sent are to 358. You can see error rate is 20.7%. The reason is that one of the endpoint get all post, we intentionally changed the endpoint URL to an incorrect base URL, as it was instead of .com I added an extra s, so that's causing the errors. And we have a total of 5 APIs in this collection, and one of them is having a fault in the URL. That's why our error rate is hovering around 25%, which is 1/5. So it will continue to run for a total of 2 minutes, and then we will see that we will have the whole result over here, and then we will be able to identify, and we will be able to assess the performance of all these APIs. So you can see that we have still our load running, and it's showing us average response as well as error rate and how many virtual users. So virtual users, you can see initially at different points we can see how many virtual users we have. Like here if you see 24.69, and then here you can see 25, because after the ramp up it reached to the maximum, which was 25. Now it's almost done, 0 minutes left, so we should be able to see the whole results in a few seconds. All right, so it has completed, and if you go here, you can see the details as well. That for this get all posts, there were total 971 requests, and requests per second were 6.74. And for all of these, we received error. So error rate is 100%. As you know that we intentionally changed the URL to wrong base URL. But for all others, get post by ID, create post, update post, and delete. We have 0% error rate. All of them are successful. And if you see the average response time, this is 27 millisecond for get post by id, 251 millisecond for creation of a post, 255 for update by id, and 241 for delete post by id. And it gives us a complete picture, all the details, minimum, what was the min, what was the max. And this is really helpful when it comes to perform a load test. If you click on errors tab, you can see here that it shows us all of the errors. In our case, all of the errors are of the same nature, e not found, because uh, it, the reason of these errors is just the incorrect url that we made intentionally. And if you click on summary, you can have how many requests per second overall. These was for individual apis, but total average request per second were 33.45, and average response time overall is 193 millisecond. And cumulative, we can see that the error rate is 20.16, and total requests that were sent are 4816. This is how you perform load test and use the collection runner available in Postman. I hope that the information that has been conveyed in the simplest possible manner in this tutorial is helpful for you. And if you have any questions, you can write in the comment section. And if you want to look into more tutorials like this, you can visit tutorialspedia.com. And also you can subscribe to this channel, as you will find plenty of tutorials around different integration technologies, APIs, and other related technologies in this channel.